Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. So we've got something a little different for you today. I'm gonna try my hand at some metal sculpture, and I've got a whole bunch of these extra parts just laying around. I don't know what exploded, but we got a bunch of gears and some drive chain, got a bar off a chainsaw, and then I've just got a piece of, I think it's like about 1/8 inch gauge sheet metal steel that was scrapped somewhere. And we're gonna just tack this all together and make a little metal sculpture. So we're gonna use my Hobart wire feed welder today. And this is set up to run 0.030 solid core wire. And we're using a shielding gas that's the mix of argon and CO2. So this is my first attempt at this. So if we get it to come out, great. And if not, we've learned a lot and we haven't lost anything. Okay, so I've been playing around with design, and I think this is what I'm going to try to go with. And so what I did was I took a couple pictures with this, and I'm going to go ahead and pick all this up, clean all this, and get ready to arcing and sparking. Okay, and I'm going to strip all the paint off of this steel and get ready to weld it up. See if we can find a faster brush. Okay, that wire wheel wasn't bad, but this will be quicker. And so I'm gonna go ahead and try and strip this off. I'm gonna go ahead and throw on a respirator though. Okay, it may look dorky and you probably can't hear me, but don't take any chances with your lungs. Let's get this stripped off. Well, that's not coarse enough. Okay, this is supposed to be a 60 grit sanding disc, so let's see how it does. Okay, I'm gonna look for something a little bit finer. That's actually taking off some metal. Okay, so this is a medium, kind of a Scotch-Brite pad. Let's see if that takes the paint off without taking the metal away. Okay, so I've clamped this metal down. Let's see how this does now. Okay, so that's working pretty well. Although I think the cloth's starting to get a little used up. Well, we're gonna see if we can get this off there. All right, well, I don't think anybody would really question why you'd wear a respirator. But look at that on the floor. I don't know what kind of chemicals are in that paint, but I know they're not in my lungs, and I appreciate that. So let's see what we got. Okay, so this piece of painted metal is now clear. Still got some dust on it, but it doesn't have any paint stuck to it. But the floor has all that red paint that was on there on it. So I'm gonna clean this up and then be right back with you. Okay, I got the majority of that mess cleaned up, and we're gonna go ahead and lay the parts back out and we'll start tacking them. And I'll probably have to play with the settings just a little bit, but what I've got so far figured out is I think I want about a 5 on the voltage and about a 15 on the wire speed. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, and I'll consult my picture. But what I'm doing when I lay this out, it really doesn't matter. I mean, it's why they call it art, right? But one of the things that I'm doing is, like, for example, this sprocket is offset. So if I set it this way, this chain pretty much lays flat on the steel. If I turn it this way, it holds it up. And I don't want that, so obviously we'll turn it that way. The other thing is these parts, what I'm going to try to do is just go inside these sprockets and tack them. And so what I want is a piece that's going to lay against the steel. So if I can find one that's not that way. This one obviously will be down here because this would be up in the air. So you can do 3D, but I'm just kind of want to play with this and see how it works. Now the other thing is all these parts are much thicker and heavier than this steel. And so what I'm going to do is pretty much try to tack, like on this one, I'll probably go to the end of the shaft, but I'll start the arc on the actual thicker part and aim it towards the steel so that that tack just kind of flows down on there and sticks without blowing through the steel. Just kind of playing around. This is the first attempt at metal sculptural grip, but it is something that I've wanted to do for quite a while, and it's 1 degree outside right now, so it's definitely a day to work in the barn. All right, well, we are ready to start. And before I strike an arc, I need to tell you that I am not a professional welder, and I'm definitely not a professional artist, but I can stick metal together, and we're going to give this a shot and see how it turns out. Okay, that went pretty good. That's not good. Yeah. Okay, we're starting to get there. I think I've figured out the settings finally. And I had problems with my spool was not feeding. The line wasn't feeding. So I had to tighten up the tensioner a little bit. But I think I've got everything working now. In fact, now it may be a little too hot. But let's see if we can stick some of this on here. All right, here it is, welded up. I had a little trouble with finding out the right settings on the welder, and if for some reason the spool quit feeding, but it's all stuck to it. And there's some heat sinkers. There's a blow through. What was that on? Oh, that was on that shaft, on this little shaft, which, ooh, that's still hot. But anyway, it was pretty hard to get stuck on there. But all in all, that's not too bad, I don't think. And it won't win any awards, but kind of think of this as like when your kid comes home from first grade and has a piece of art and he wants it hung on the refrigerator. You hang that thing on the refrigerator. So it's all stuck, and that's what I was looking for. Just something to play with on a cold winter afternoon. Okay, here it is completed. The big thing for me was it was an opportunity to practice welding some thicker pieces onto some thinner metal. Some welding with different thicknesses is always fairly tough. The other thing is I haven't touched that welder in probably 2 years, so I just wanted to kind of get it out and get used to it. Also, I've got a new piece of PPE, that respirator mask, and I wanted to get used to wearing that. And that gave me some problems. Those filters popped off probably 3 or 4 times, which was kind of interesting. But I'd like to get into this metal sculpture stuff a little bit, and this was a good opportunity for me to play with it a little bit and try it out as a first attempt. I don't think it came out too bad. Again, this was all scrap anyway, so like I said, it didn't cost anything, and I learned quite a bit. I'm having a little bit of trouble with that wire feed welder. For some reason, towards the end, the wire quit advancing, and I had to keep loosening the spool up, so I need to play with that, find out what's going on with that. Anyway, I'll work on that. Here it is. I like it, and hope you liked it. It's 1 degree outside, so it was a good day to spend in the barn. Have a great day, and be safe.